Maybe you can give us a little example of something you've seen recently.
There's a lot of things, in all honesty, and that's not just to get people scared to go solar. That's just so that way they understand that some people are just out there to make money. Some people actually care about what they do, and that's my biggest fight, is to try and change people's mind and help lower their electric bill, not worry about having large water bill when they have a pool system. There's a lot of different things that solar can help with.
Hey, welcome, SB Nation. And here we are with another episode. And today we have a super special guest. We have a solar expert. He's been doing a lot of work for us as a real estate office, and he has been doing a lot of work throughout the Florida area. So we figured we bring on an expert. There's a lot of solar panels being put on and installed, and there's a lot of questions regarding solar. We figured we give you guys a little breakdown of 4 or 5 questions and see if that can help you out when you're trying to buy a property that has solar, or if you're thinking of getting solar. We have an expert here that's going to help you answer a few questions. I predetermined some questions. Once you guys have more questions, send them to our channel and we'll get them answered for you. Well, now it is my pleasure to announce Sergio. And Sergio, I'll let you talk a little bit about your expertise and tell the public what you do.
All right, how's it going, everybody? My name is Sergio Domenech. I'm currently the owner and operator of Power Surge Solutions. And currently, we've been in business for a little over a year. My business is just up and coming. I've seen a lot of things with solar that can be improved as far as for the customer.
And Sergio, quick
Yes.
question. How long have you been doing solar? Not with your company, but in total?
In total, almost 10 years.
That's a lot of experience.
Yes, sir.
So your company, just to clarify and so that the public knows, you've opened it about a year ago, but you've been in the solar field for about 10 years. So you have plenty of experience, don't you?
Correct. Yes.
What areas do you work in, or what states?
Currently, I operate out of Florida, but I do the entire state, coast to
And
coast, all the way
that's a
up, all the way
big
down.
territory.
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit of what got you started in the solar business? And have you seen it grow in Florida? Are you seeing it diminish? What are you seeing the trends?
Well, I started solar, I would say back in 2015, early 2015. At that point, I was very new to solar. I would have never guessed I'd be getting on a roofs and falling in love with hanging out with the wind at certain times. But for the most part, when I first started solar, I didn't even notice that there were panels on people's roofs that could help them out and give them a little bit of a break on electricity, or help them with their hot water or the hot water pressure or the pools.
Oh, wow.
So I thought it was actually pretty interesting. So it kind of piqued my interest. And I did have some great people that helped me learn the correct way of doing things and the differences in good workmanship and bad workmanship.
I see. So
So
you've seen a little bit of both sides of the story there.
yes, quite a lot more than I'd like to admit. But for the most part, we've in solar in general, it's actually started to increase a lot more over the years have gone. There's been a lot more companies, a lot more incentives to try and go solar.
And I think you're completely right. We're seeing an uptick on homes that we sell that already come with solar, and some that homeowners are trying to get the incentives right after they buy it by going solar. And that's why I had you on here, see if we can inform the public a little bit of little things to watch out for. And then I'm going to ask you some questions. And then if you can just help in your experience and in your own words, the answers, how it can help the public. Because
Okay.
ultimately, if we can help the public be a little bit more aware,
Yes.
And then I'm also trying to help other real estate agents that are out there. The real estate industry is changing quite drastically, especially, and I don't know if you're aware, but there's a lot of lawsuits going on against the real estate industry across the nation within the last 30 days, 45 days or so. We've been seeing a lot more news come out to light. And so, because of that, we're trying to prepare the public in case they have to go and search for a house themselves
Okay.
or they're finding a house on Zillow.
Yeah.
Some of these questions will help them, little things to watch out for. And that's what we're trying to do, is inform the public rather than the professional, so that they
Okay.
have some
Yeah.
insight. So when they contact the professional, they're a little bit more aware of what to ask and kind of get their questions answered in a better way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
The more knowledge someone has, or as a homeowner, the more knowledge you have, the better you can find what company best suits you, because you can see who's going to be honest with you from the beginning and you can see who's not.
I agree. And I think just like in the real estate field, I think I've seen a lot of not so honest things in the solar field.
Yep.
And maybe you can give us a little example of something you've seen recently within the last 30 days or so. Um, can you think of something right off the top of your head?
Well, there's a lot of things, and in all honesty, and that's not just to get people scared to go solar. That's just so that way they understand that some people are just out there to make money. Some people actually care about what they do. And that's my biggest fight, is to try and change people's mind and help inform them, as well as get them on board to help everything as well. Because if they can lower their electric bill, if they can not worry about having a large water bill when they have a pool system, or running the
Mhm.
heat pump when it gets colder. Like, there's a lot of different things that solar can help with, rather than just paying your electric bill and having that money go to waste over time.
Mm. So overall, you still see it as a plus for homeowners, or are you seeing more of it leveling out?
I still see it as more as a plus for homeowners, especially with all of the increases by the state at the moment. There's already been 2 increases in how much wattage actually costs.
Mm. And that's a
So,
huge thing.
correct. Well, they're also hinting at a third increase.
Oh,
So they
wow.
said
I haven't
that
heard of that.
yes. So in the solar field, we'll get both sides of it. We'll get the new products that come out and what actually works and what has been on the decline. And on the electrical field, we'll also get all of the extra knowledge, as far as some of the counties in Florida are actually requiring homeowners to get a new permit for a reinstall when a company takes down their system and then puts them back. So
Oh,
now
so for example, if they're going to replace the roof, for example, do they have to pull out a permit just for that?
it needs to have a new permit, correct? And it needs to be inspected again by the county.
Oh, wow. When is that already in effect, or it's about to be in effect?
No, that is already going into effect. I know certain counties closer to Sanford are starting that already.
Wow. Do you see that as a plus for the homeowner, or do you see that as a minus?
Well, in all honesty, I see that as a plus. One,
Mhm.
because it backs that the solar is has to be done properly. Because if a company just comes out and throws it up and all of the wires are touching, it's not grounded properly, there's certain material missing from the system, that creates a difficult feeling for that homeowner to be like, well, the first company I had did a good job. Or if they came back and it was new people, there's a lot of things that go along with removal and reinstall. But if the county is enforcing somebody, in this case, sometimes it's the roofers, since they're already pulling permits, they'll have them pull a new solar permit and a new inspection once that system goes back up. So it still has to fall within the original parameters and all of the guidelines.
Are you seeing a delay in install? Is it prolonging it more, or is it fairly rapid from what you've been seeing? For say, get a new re-roof on a property and they have to dismount and remount the solar panels. How long does that take?
Normally that can take anywhere from 2 weeks to a month, just to be honest. And the reason being is because once we do remove the system off of the roof, then we do have to wait for the roofers to take it off, put it back on. It does have to sit for about 5 to 7 days in order for the roof to cure. That way that when we go back, the shingles, if it's very hot, it's 90 plus degrees outside, you don't want to go on a roof and all of the shingles start sliding and cause more damage to the roof.
I understand. And what types of solar panels, because to me, I'm not a solar expert, so they all start looking the same. When we go to a house and we're trying to sell it, is there certain brands to watch out for? Are there certain solar panel types? Are there different dimensions? If you can give us a little bit of that aspect.
Yep.
What do you recommend and what do you see for the Florida area?
As far as a system goes, I personally recommend Enphase.
Enphase, okay.
Enphase is amazing. They have top line technology. They're always connected to every single one of their systems. They get instant alerts. If there's anything wrong, you can access the system. Let's say there is an issue with a system that I installed a year ago, and one of the panels may not be producing properly. I can look at that from my house, even if that system is 150 miles away.
Oh,
I
wow.
can still access that system as a business owner and look into and see, okay, what's going on. If the homeowners are not aware, I can also call the homeowner at that point and let them know, hey, I've noticed that there's a certain issue with your system. As the people who installed it, I'd like to come out and see what's going on. When's a good time?
Wow, I didn't know that existed. Can the homeowner also preview or see like a diagnostic of what's going on with their system?
Absolutely. They can see a detailed layout of the panels on their roofs and the optimizers or the microinverters on their roof as well. But
That,
not only can you see all of that, Enphase has just upgraded their system as their security features to protect homeowners even further. So with that being said, now any IQ7 or 7 plus up is going to require the homeowner's consent to even access the Enphase Envoy to test the system properly.
wow.
So
And
it's a
sorry to cut you off, but
you're right.
it's just a question that popped in my head. Enphase, how does that compare to relatively in price and warranties compared to the other brands that are out there?
Um,
Is it a lot more expensive? Is it about the same level? It's just they provide more service to the customer. What are you seeing, or is it astronomical? Is an Enphase system like the cream of the crop, or are they middle tier regarding price what the homeowner's expecting to pay for an Enphase system?
as in the type of system, Enphase is definitely, in my personal opinion, out of all different systems, is the cream of the crop.
Cream of the
However, their pricing is actually fairly priced. It's actually very competitive.
It is.
Uh,
Okay. And
Solar
that's
Edge is a little bit on the less expensive side. However, their monitoring system is good, but Enphase has just found a way to take it to a next level and communicate within instant.
And do you think an M-Phase system is similar in install times to other brands, or does it take longer? Are there more steps? How many steps are there for the average homeowner? Say they call, they want a system, they're selling it, you're the installer. Can you walk me through like the steps? How long does it take to install a traditional system?
All right, so for me and my crew, I
Mhm.
try and do things in an orderly manner. So within that first 30 minutes of getting to the house, in all honesty, it should be just looking at safety precautions, talking to the homeowner, letting
Okay.
them know what's going to go on, if they have any questions, any concerns, any issues with the plan that maybe was miscommunicated. That way everything starts off on a good foot. The second thing that we're going to end up tackling is once we have all of that situated, I personally have a three-man crew.
Okay.
So all of us go directly on the roof. The first few things we do are the panel layout. Then we measure to make sure that we're hitting the trusses and that the cantilevers are not too far over where there's more of a wind load on one side than the other and that they're structured properly. Then we're going to put the feet down. In this case, I like to use flash locks because they're a one-step process. All you have to do is drill your hole. You're going to sit the foot directly on top of that hole, whether it's facing up or down. It does the same thing. It is reversible rather than having to buy an extra part.
Hmm. How
And
long
it
does
all,
that take? 2 hours? A day? 2 days?
uh, realistically, the full install on a 10K system should take anywhere between 4.5 hours to 6.5, 7 hours, depending on how many roofs and how many arrays each roof has.
Oh, wow. So basically, a solar system on a traditional home can be installed and up and going in about a day?
Correct. Half a
Wow.
day at least.
Okay. So that's fairly quickly.
Correct.
I thought it was a week-long process, 3-day process. I didn't know that they can put that many panels in one day and have it up and running.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really good.
A reinstall takes actually sometimes a little less. Sometimes a reinstall could take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours
Oh, wow.
to
Okay.
put this. Yep.
Because the systems are, you mentioned something about the trusses. How important is that, or have you seen people not attach it to the trusses?
I have seen it. I am not a big fan of it just because there's no real support, even if you blow out of a truss. And what that means is if you have a hole too close to one side or the other of the truss where there's not enough meat, it will
Okay.
blow out to the side. It is imperative that you get that truss directly in the center or as close to as you can. And the way we find that is we'll take a 20-ounce hammer and we'll just tap lightly around. Some roofs that have different material need a little more of a sturdier knock. But for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, we don't damage the shingles. We don't
Oh,
damage
that's a good point.
any of the material. It's a fairly light knock, and you can hear the difference between the left, right, and then the center stud that sounds sturdy.
And while you're doing the installation, how does the electrical part come into play? Do you have an electrician ready to help you out? Are you guys familiar with the electrical work? If you can let us know. For me, like, I've never been on the roof,
Okay.
haven't seen the system. So for the average homeowner, how would that help?
We do have a personal electrician here with us, so that's normally I'll have my crew is on the roof, of course, with me. I go to almost every single job. So we'll have my electrician starts off maybe about 2, 3 hours in. He should have most of it wired up and ready to run the attic at that point.
And then are you helping the electrician out, or is that a separate department that has to show up, or all you guys are working in unison?
In a sense, we're all working in unison. If he
Okay.
ever needs my help, it's not like some companies that do it now where there's a division between the
Mhm.
electrician and the workers on the roof. I don't believe in that. Everybody's treated equal. If the electrician needs some help, we help the electrician. If we need help having panels passed up, excuse me, if we need help having panels passed up, then if the electrician can, he can help pass us panels or whatever we do need.
So between the electrician and you as the installer, say in 7 hours, a traditional system like a 10 kilowatt system, like you mentioned, that can be done within the 7 hour time frame?
Correct. Sometimes it can be less depending on, as I said, how many roofs there are, how difficult the job is.
Mm-hmm. But that's good. I thought it was 7 hours just for the install and then another X amount of time for the electrician to do his side.
No, everything is done at one time and in unison. The electrician starts on his side of the house. He'll find the meter and the main. Hopefully, they're directly behind each other, and he doesn't have to run a service extern through the attic to connect to the main breaker. Other than that, it's relatively quick. You can mount all of the equipment that you need in under an hour
Oh,
sometimes if you have the right people.
gotcha. And I think that goes to any business, right? Having
Yes.
the right team is crucial. One last question, and if you have like a quick tip that can be geared towards the end user, meaning the buyer, because sometimes we're helping out buyers find a home and it already has solar,
Okay.
and the seller doesn't really know what they have on there. Is there something that the buyer can do or have the real estate agent look for regarding that system? What do you think would be the first step when they're thinking of buying a house that already has solar?
Well, the first step is to as a seller and being a buyer, you should both have some conscious awareness that there may be certain issues that even that homeowner has not been made aware of yet because they sold the house.
Okay.
So a lot of times what I would say is always have the system inspected
Okay.
by somebody, either the roofer knows or your real estate agent knows. That way you both can be sure, is this a good fit for me? Because a lot of the times people will just try and sell you a house with the solar on it, but
Mhm.
one, some of the circuitry is shot, it's not working properly, or they haven't told them that no warranty is transferable when it comes to solar. So there's a few key parts that I believe that homeowners should be fully aware of prior to even thinking of buying a house with solar, because even though it is a great asset, if it's done wrong, it will definitely give you the wrong taste in your mouth.
I completely understand, and I had some customers that we were going through that experience. Can us as real estate agents or homeowners, can they contact your company, and I'm assuming for a fee, you do an inspection, and then you can
Correct.
tell that homeowner before they put their house up for sale? Is that possible with your company to go inspect jobs? And that way the homeowner knows what they have, what's working, what's not? before they put their house up for sale? Is that something that your company does?
Absolutely.
Okay, then if you're okay with it, I'm going to put your company's details in our description. That way people can get a hold of you. And you can plug your company right now if you like, the name of your company, and how can people get a hold of you?
The company name is Power Surge Solutions. Right now, I'm currently on phone call and
Mhm.
Instagram. Said phone call.
No, that's
Uh,
fine. How can they give you a call? Is
the
there a
number to
certain number
call
they can call?
the number to call me at is going to be 689
Mm-hmm.
238 4691.
4691 689 238 4691. Power
Yes.
Surge, you said?
Power Surge Solutions.
Power Surge Solutions. There you have it, folks. Power Surge Solutions. And I think this is crucial
Yes.
because as we have more homeowners that have solar, we don't know what's working or what's not. And they had a perception that maybe they had solar installed 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and that everything is working fine. And then the new buyer finds out that that's not the case. And then they blame the seller. So I think the service that you're providing is very helpful. And maybe if you're okay and you have some time, I know you're a busy guy, we can do another quick chat like this, and we can give them like tips, homeowner tips to look for, and what you like little recommendations.
Absolutely, we could definitely do that. I think that would be in the homeowners and the buyer's best interest, as well as giving some of the sellers a little advantage to help with that process. That way they can make that buyer feel more comfortable as well.
Perfect. I think that's a tremendous benefit to the customers. Do you think if they give you a call and they start scheduling, you can give them $10 off? Do you have any specials going on since we're in the winter months? Um, Give you a call or you'll work with them depending on the type of property. And that way they mention SP Group and we can provide something to the customer. Do you think that's doable with your company?
Absolutely, we could definitely work $10 off.
Perfect. I appreciate it. There you have it, SB Nation. We're trying to get you some discounts. And when you're inspecting your homes, do it properly. Hire a company like Sergio's. They'll go out there. They'll take care of it. He's done some inspections for us, and so that's why we recommend them, and we have them on their channel. See if we can provide value to you homeowners. Well, thank you very much, Sergio. We'll be in touch. I know your time is precious, and we're filming this on a Sunday, so thank you for taking the time out of your busy week. And we'll be in touch.
No problem. I appreciate you reaching out to me again.
Perfect.
Let's help everybody do a better job and make sure some people are accountable.
I think that's crucial. You ended it up on a huge note.
Oh
Accountability
yeah.
is very hard nowadays.
Yes, yes it is. Well, that's one thing that we hold ourselves very high on.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. You have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Hugo. You have a wonderful night.
Thank you, you too.